I went to a fashion business school.
What's up with it? It's your boy Expat D here with another video. So we're gonna look at this video talking about college. Really interesting. I've been in education about 20 years. I've actually been a college professor for about 5. So this is pretty interesting. So I've seen a lot of this stuff firsthand.
And I cannot even get a job that makes more than $17 an hour.
The comments on
Okay, so pretty interesting. So you got somebody that has a major, and their major is basically something that we can all kind of see that it's going to be low odds that this person is going to get a job out of this. And this is something that I've seen as a former professor. I've seen it all the time. I always believed that college is a couple of things. I feel like, number one, if you're going to go to college, I always wondered why the courses that you take that are not your major, why do they cost the same amount as the courses for your major? For example, it's like if you went to Burger King, right, or McDonald's. If you get a hamburger, right, that's your main dish, right? That's a different price than if you're buying fries, or if you're buying a drink or a cookie or something on the side, right? There's like side items, right? Some of these classes are just side items. Why do they cost the same amount as your main course? So I feel like there's a lot to unpack, a lot that's messed up when it comes to how stuff is priced in terms of courses, right? Courses should not all be the same price. Number one. Number two, there should be some type of maybe like on a percentage base. Maybe it's like, okay, if you finish your degree, we'll take so much percent out of what you make in this, if you get a job in this field, what you make for like the next 5 years or 10 years or something like that. It should be some type of incentive to make sure that colleges are preparing you and actually being able to place you in some of these jobs. Okay, let's see what else. I think this is someone named Jessica, I think that Sherman, okay, commenting on this. A lot of good, interesting stuff.
this video is exactly the reason we are never going to gain class consciousness. So people were commenting on this video of this girl validly complaining that she got a degree from a fashion business school and she can't find a job, and she's shocked. And people in the comments are like, well, what did you expect? You got
Okay, I'm gonna pause that. So yeah, so there's some pretty good points here because we have to look at the fact that I feel like particularly in America, I feel like at a young age, it's almost like a hazing. It's like you really don't know any better when you're like 17, 18, 19 years old going off to college, right? Um, it's funny because I remember this as a college instructor. Okay, I remember that one of the classes I used to teach, it was like introduction to college, right? And always, what I did is I remember I gave everyone an assignment, and I said, okay, I want you to like make a budget. Like what do you like, right? Um, what type of house do you want? What type of car do you want to drive? You know, list out all these things and then see how much it costs, and then look up what you want to do and how much you get paid. Because they had no concept of money. A lot of the cars, the rides, the stuff they want, it was like $10,000, $15,000 a month, right, in bills. And this was about 10 years ago, right? So they just had no concept of money, right? These students. And so I wanted them to make the connection, okay, between like this stuff costs money, your classes cost money, take it seriously. And that's one thing, like at a young age, like I remember when I was in college, I didn't even know what a good salary was. I had no idea. Like if they said, yeah, you're going to graduate and you're going to make $30,000 a year. I'm like, ooh, 30,000. Wow. Is that good? Right. I had no idea how much it cost. So it is true how like it is really predatory that kids have to make these type of decisions. They don't even understand money. The government gets to throw these loans on top and have these, these predatory practices, and the government's financing it and all this stuff. And colleges are just tacking on fees and doing this little sneaky stuff. That's crazy. It's really, you as a young person, you're really set up at a young age. Okay. That's something that's, got to watch out for. Okay. When it comes to college.
Your degree in a hobby. That's a degree for people with connections, babe. Do y'all not understand? The majority of people go and get their degrees, their bachelor degrees, when they're like 17, 18. I was 17 when I started college. And these schools sell you jobs you will get with these degrees. That is fraud.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it here. So yeah, so it is interesting. Like you could consider that to be, like fraudulent almost, like that type of behavior, because you have programs that are not going to lead to a job, and you're marketing it to somebody that has no clue. Even it's funny because, you know, a lot of these courses, the student has no idea. You could really tell them anything because most of them haven't actually worked in that field. So they don't know if you're preparing them well or not. They're just like, okay, like, you want me to do this assignment? Okay, I'll do this assignment. All right, write this essay. Okay, I'll write this essay. Right? They don't know. They have no idea if what you're teaching them, all this theory and essays and multiple choice tests and all that stuff, they have no idea if that actually even prepares them for what they're going to do. And in my own personal experience, even classes within my major that I've taken as a student, I only found maybe like one or two courses I even feel that was even practical, to help me in the real life. The main thing you really need is like, you need a certain level of on the job training to even be a good student, because how do you even know what questions to ask? Okay, it really helps when you actually are hands-on and you're doing the job. Then you have questions. Then kind of what you want to study and things like that. So I almost feel like, how they give students like an internship, usually in their major at the end, they should make that the very first class, the very first one. Because if you take it in the beginning, then you'll even know if you want to continue. I mean, there were so many students that I had, and the stuff they wanted to major in, they didn't even like math, and they wanted to be like an engineer. I was like, well, why do you want to be an engineer? Because my mom wants me to be an engineer. It's all this social pressure, right? So anyway, I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to make a lot more videos on this. I have a lot to say, especially when it comes to college. I'm Expat D. Okay, if you like content like this, like, share, subscribe to my channel. Let's get this thing to grow, man. Let me know in the comment section, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think colleges should do? What policies should be in place so that we're not so predatory? We don't have these predatory practices on young people. Okay, what do you think should happen? What rules? Do you think major classes should be a different price than regular classes? Do you think internships should be first? Do you think maybe you shouldn't have to pay for a college degree unless you get a job? Right? What do you think needs to happen to even out this playing field? Because I'm hearing more and more of people just getting screwed, man. Like they're graduating, they're going to good schools too, and they cannot land a job that they suspected to land. All right, well, that's the end of my time here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.